Hey, Dame's back in town tonight. We'll be joined by Ben Golliver coming up in 10 minutes from now from the Washington Post, NBA writer, formerly BlazersEdge.com.
Indeed.
But have you ever heard of it? Have you ever heard of BlazersEdge.com?
Yeah, no, definitely not the place that he got me started at.
Oh, okay.
Oh, weird.
Ben will join us 10 minutes from now because it's a big day in Portland, man. It's Dame's
all Dame
return.
all the time.
It's the Letter O's return as a Milwaukee Buck. He had an emotional arrival yesterday when Adidas named the gym in the basketball court after him, the first ever athlete to have a building or anything really named after him at the Adidas headquarters here in Portland. And he told you that he will be emotional. Yeah. And like, we know he will be. I'm just wondering, like, will fans, because he may be one of the most important figures in Blazers history.
I think he's probably one of the most important figures in the state's sports history.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he is a guy that you think of what he meant to the franchise after, and it was a really weird time for the Blazers because it was the three pillars of B. Roy, LaMarcus, and Greg Oden.
It just come crumbling down.
It vanished before it could even get off the ground. And
on the heels of the Jailblazers in the redemption era in that period. So it was
a franchise in flux.
Yes.
And they needed him in a desperate way. This fan base needed him in a desperate way. And the franchise, I mean, it let him down.
It did.
Because at every turn he delivered for this team.
I mean, right out of the gate, you had license to Lillard before he was ever a Trailblazer. If you go around the NBA, there's workouts and drafts that become kind of legendary. Dame's workouts are some of the best workouts I've ever heard anybody ever talk about.
Yeah.
Like that was part of it was beautiful job by his agency, Goodwin, and kind of getting that whole thing going. Mm-hmm. But his workouts were legendary. The only other ones that I've heard rival that are the Utah Jazz when they brought in Donovan Mitchell. Their player personnel folks told the media that were there that if it gets out how good this workout is, we will ban you from this building. That's how good Dame's workouts were. They were so from even before he was a Trailblazer, they knew which way they were going to go. Neil O'Shea drafted Damian Lillard, but he had been in that position, I believe, for 4 weeks after taking over.
Chad Buchanan
did all of the work. The Blazers knew which way they were going if he was there. And then that guy goes out there, crushes Summer League, just shows with unabashed resolve of no, I'm that guy. Then opening night against the this is going to be fun Lakers of Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant, goes out there and obliterates them.
From the
jump. To be able to do that, to start that high, and there wasn't an expectation that Dame didn't live up to.
Yeah.
And now
the franchise didn't, though.
Yes, but I mean, Dame lived up to every part of it and then some.
Absolutely.
And that's just how often can you say that about a player? LeBron's the easy one.
LeBron. Kobe was too.
Kobe. Yep.
Kobe was absolutely that guy. I think that in the part about it, even that kind of separates Dame from Kobe is without controversy too.
Yes.
Without controversy, there was Damian Lillard was here in Portland and nothing was ever in doubt of the character of the person, the player, and you never had a worry that anything was going to go sideways on you. And I think those guys are very rare in sports, right? I mean, because when you get to a certain level and when you get to a certain status, there's always somebody that's going to try to knock you down too. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that Damian Lillard is a person without faults, because every person is, because we are human.
Yeah.
But nothing ever made him, the organization, or the city embarrassed.
No, never.
And that is very hard to do, especially in a city where the microscope is on you in Portland, like nowhere else.
You can't go anywhere
because everybody says small market. We know
it's a fishbowl.
We know if you step in it the wrong way, it's the biggest story in town.
Yes. And
Especially coming off the heels of the Jailblazers.
yes, 100%. And Dame was always aware of that, and he didn't avoid it because of, the fear of that, but because he was above that.
Yeah.
Look, there's a difference between what LeBron does and what Dame does. I'm not talking about on the court. I'm talking about off the floor type stuff. LeBron sits there with his book on page 6 of whatever book he wants to be filmed reading before a game. Dame is more natural, certainly, but it's put together. Do you think that was that it was coincidence that Dame got off that Sprinter van last night or yesterday afternoon at Adidas wearing red and black? Do you think that was a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
No, everything he does. You know why this guy, who's 6'2.5", 6'3" from Weber State, who was a 3-star prospect, who was unrecruited and unheralded, and Phil Beckner, his trainer, told him he wasn't worth it and broke him down. Do you know why that guy is going to go in the Hall of Fame as first ballot? Because everything he does is measured.
Yeah.
He's got his security team, his marketing team, his business team, his workout team, his coaches. Phil Beckner flies out to train him. His marketing staff comes out to brief him. They go do their trips to China to build his, everything he does is measured, but it's with a sense of realness. It's not fake. It's branded, but it's real. And there's just so little, look at the stars of since Damian Lillard's come in the league that have faltered. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. Name one that hasn't. I think Giannis is probably it.
Giannis is a great one.
But LeBron stepped in it with the decision, and that pissed everybody off.
Even Giannis is he's kind of cut from that same mold of the genuineness. It's manufactured and it's curated, but it's real.
But it started out as very, very, very real. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And I think you could put Jokic in that same category too. But there's just how many times has Luke already stepped in it?
Yeah.
How many times has Book already stepped in it? Anthony Edwards has been in the league 2 years and he cannot stop stepping in it. Steph is probably the other one.
Embiid stepped in it a few times as well.
Yeah. But I mean,
Steph is a great one. Steph is a phenomenal one.
But there's just so few of those guys.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
look what they all have in common. Look where they all came from.
Yeah, small schools or overseas.
Or there's a different level of adjustment and expectation.
Yeah. Maturity, too.
Yes, there was
maturity.
Yes, and I think that is such a big part of Damian Lillard's story, is not only his greatness, but his maturity as a not just a basketball player, but as a professional.
How hard are you going to cry?
The thug tear is going to come out.
Don't try to say it's Thug.
No. I'm
Don't.
talking about the one that just leaks out. Just the one leak to the corner.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's going to be there. It's going to get me. Look, I cover the guy, and I try to be objective and all that, but it's not just a guy I cover. He's a friend.
Yeah.
And it's going to be there.
RJ chiming in on the Vancouver Ford text line, we'll be cheering for Dame all night, as well as the Blazers. It is what it is. Lillard is a Blazer for life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good.
If you're cheering for Dame to win tonight, I have nothing against you. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Farhad says, "Am I a weirdo for rooting for the Bucks to win it all because of Dame?" No. I think that is. I think we all kind of are. It is a weird situation to be in where it's like everybody says yeah, I want my ex to go on and do great things, but we don't really mean it. I think we kind of do with this one.
I want Dame to go. I want Dame and the Bucks to go play the Nuggets and give that team the series they should have had last year with Giannis healthy. And I hope they go in there and they beat the crap out of him. And I hope he gets a ring. And then when it's all said and done, he gets to go, all right, I'm going to come home.
We're good.